everybody, I'm Jessica, the Health Fitness Program Manager at Miter McLean, and I'm here to guide you through today's lower body, hips, lower back focused yoga class. So we're gonna get started. Oh, my watch died. In about 4 minutes. Just gonna take a couple moments to write on an index card what I wrote on my computer. Missing that printer life, everyone. All right, so we're gonna get started in just about 4 minutes. Grab any props that you need, grab some water, just start to come into your breath, start to relax. Happy Friday, everyone. Ooh, poppity pop. Do, 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 do. Some strokes. No idea where. Oh. One more minute, everybody. Hi, thanks for coming. One more minute. So just turn all of the sounds off over here. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm Jessica. Go ahead, come down and meet me on the floor. We're going to have a delightful lower body, lower back, hips focused yoga class for today. I'm actually going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing, and we're going to get started today. It's actually easier to face this direction. All right, with your legs out in front of you. So go ahead, lift your knees and place your feet on the floor. You're trying to keep your toes pointed forward, and you want to have your feet in line enough with your knees so that there's as straight of a line that's gonna be created from your knees to your feet. And we're gonna take a moment to actually bring our hands to our bum and just open your tush out just a little bit. Just grounding yourself down into the mat, moving your butt so you just feel that nice grounding, also with your feet still grounding. Notice right now if your knees are coming out or in, and really work right now to find that alignment. A nice, just like slippery slope for your knees all the way down towards those ankles. All right. Let's come on into the breath. So you can go ahead and bring your hands on the back of your thighs onto your hamstrings, keeping your feet grounded. You're going to roll those shoulders down and back to gently lift your chest up right here. And start to come into your breath. Really work to send the awareness of your breath into your lower back. Keeping that chest lifted, starting to find some squeezing of those shoulder blades. On your next deep inhale, you're going to sit up even taller. Great. Breathing in, exhale, go ahead. Bring your chest forward towards your thighs. And if you don't already see this coming, start to tuck your chin towards your chest. Find some rounding right here. You can even reach through and maybe take a firmer grab of your opposite arm, opposite hand palm. Maybe you can reach all the way towards your opposite elbow. And you're going to relax the weight of your head down towards the floor. Still breathing. Working to create as much of a lift right here. So starting with chin away from your chest to find that sandwich as you can, and then relaxing in the neck, the shoulders, your traps down towards the floor. Just take a couple moments right here, coming back into your breath. Keeping your awareness of your feet still grounded into the floor, really working to keep those knees in line with your ankles. Keep grounding those sit bones into the mat, pulling your shoulders gently away from your ears. And notice how, as you stretch, softening your breath, it's starting to feel a little bit more relaxing right here. Really grounding those feet, finding some pressure of your big toes, really pressing the inner soles, the arch of your foot down towards the floor. Doesn't always have to be super big. Just coming into your breath right here. Just start to melt against those thighs. Big deep inhales in through your nose. Long slow exhales out through your nose or mouth. Just working to find as much length, continued length as you possibly can. Awesome. Gonna go ahead and release your hands back down towards the mat. Keeping that chin tucked towards your chest, just gently pressing your hands into the floor as I look at my notes. We're adorable. All right, go ahead. Pick yourself up. Really work to get your head on top of your heart. You're gonna once again go ahead, bring your hands palms to the back of your thighs. And press your heels into the floor as you flex your toes back towards your face. You might find that you need to stay right here depending on how the tension is in your lower back. But if you're ready to move on a little bit more, just really drawing your belly in and working to lift those legs up, coming right here into tabletop. And once again, you can really interlace your fingers or your other hand palm. And if you're here in tabletop, go ahead and take a little bit of movement with your ankles, with your toes. Awesome. And then go ahead, gently release both of those feet back down towards the floor. Excuse me. Next up, we have some single leg stump. So go ahead, send your left leg out in front of you. Really work to flex those toes back towards your face, grounding that left leg down on the floor, keeping those sit bones grounded. You're going to go ahead and draw your right foot in as much as possible and take a moment to just lift your chest once more. We'll just take a lifted moment right here. So think about opening your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together. Find that grounding of your sit bone once more. Find that contraction of your abdominal core. Frequently when our backs are tired, it's usually because we are not quite engaging our abs as much as is necessary. Just something to think about. We're going to take a teeny little twist right here. So as you bring your left hand onto your right shin, place your right hand fingertips close by the base of your spine. Go ahead, press into the floor, lift your chest, and we're going to turn just in the direction of your right shoulder. Not trying to look behind you, just taking a gentle little twist right here, really focusing on belly tight. Press those fingers into the floor, just a gentle drawing of that right shoulder back, a teeny little twist. Make sure you're still breathing. Don't twist so deep that your breath becomes labored. Wow, big stretch on the outside of that right hip. Take one more nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently begin to bring yourself forward. All right, from here, you're going to allow your right knee to fall out towards the side, just as much as feels comfortable for you. You're going to go ahead and take your left hand fingertips by your hip. Inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. Lift up and exhale, reach that right arm across the left side of your body. Maybe you can reach down by your ankle. Maybe you have your hand on the outside of your shin. Maybe you just need to bring your right hand to the outside of that left thigh. But gently hinging forward as much as feels good for you. Nice. Keep breathing right here. Just a couple more breaths. For 3, 2, 1. Gently lift yourself back up. Draw yourself back in. Beautiful. Go ahead, kick your right leg out in front of you. Feel free to bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet a couple times. Once again, find those sit bones ground into the floor. And if you need to take a slight bend of your knees right here and already have those toes flexing towards your face and heels because you have such tightness on the back of your legs, that's totally okay. Coming in for our single leg stump on the other side. Work to bring this left heel as close as possible and then re-ground your sit bones back down into the mat. Take a moment using the crook of your elbow. Maybe you want to grab hold of your other arm or here at your hand palm. So with this nice grip right here with your sit bones grounded into the floor, start by pulling your belly in and then stretch up through the crown of your head. If you can, straighten that right leg out. Start to flex your toes back towards your face. Just find a spot in front of you to relax your eyes. Very nice. Let's come into our small twist here on this side. So go ahead, bring your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Place your left hand fingertips by the base of your spine. Press your fingers into the floor. Open your shoulders, open your chest, and gently just turn towards the left side. Not trying to look behind us, not trying to look past that left hip. Make sure you still have your left sit bone grounded into the floor. Pull those shoulders away from your ears, elbows hanging down heavy. Once again, find a spot to just focus your eyes, come back into your breath. For 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Gently release, turn forward. Allow that left knee to hang out heavy towards the side just a bit. Place your right hand by your hip. Inhale your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then exhale that left hand, reach over past your right leg, maybe by the ankle, maybe by the shin, maybe by the thigh. You can even press the backs of your fingertips against your leg to find a gentle twist right here and hinging forward from the hips as much as feels good for you today. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Find that length from the crown of your head. Find that engagement of your belly. So pull that lower belly in below your belly button. Go ahead, take one more nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently draw that left leg back in, sit yourself up. Once again, feel free to kick both legs out in front of you, bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet a couple of times. Next up is butterfly. Right? Okay. So go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together. Butterfly or bound angle. You can grab hold of your big toes, your little baby pinky toes if you want to, or just relax your hand wherever feels good. We're going to take a couple times to just come into the deepest stretch that feels good for you today. So if you want to, once again, putting your hands behind you and finding as much grounding through your sit bones as possible, and then pulling that belly in tight. You're going to inhale and find a lift, and exhale. Come forward, inhale up, exhale down. 2 more times until we come to stillness. Inhale up, exhale down. Last one, inhale up, exhale down. Awesome, hanging out right here, just coming as deep into the stretch as you want. You can place your elbows on your calves to help apply some pressure and gently press those knees a little closer towards the floor. Feel free to allow your forehead to hang heavy down towards your toes. Maybe you can even get your forearms down towards the floor. Let's just take a couple more breaths right here. Intentionally exhaling and sending those knees, your outer thighs, as close towards the mat as you can for today. Last 2 breaths right here. Awesome. Go ahead, gently walk yourself back up. Go ahead, bring your hands by your hips and those knees up towards the ceiling. And once again, do a little windshield wiping of your knees. Really feel free to rock onto each side of your hip as much as feels good for you today. Nice work. All right, next up we have some separate leg stretching. So staying right here on your mat, you're going to kick your right leg out and fold your left leg in cornerwise. So the sole of your left foot comes towards your right thigh bicep. If that's uncomfortable for you, feel free to just bring that heel as close to the center line of your body as you enjoy. I find actually bringing my heel a little closer towards the opposite side feels great. All right, now once again, get those sit bones grounded down towards the floor. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Start to flex your right toes towards your face. We're going to go for a bit of a compression posture, not just a stretching posture for this next one. So inhale your arms up overhead sideways. Interlace your fingers and turn towards that right foot. Inhale to lift up and exhale to hinge forward. You're working to grab hold of your foot under the ball of your foot, and if that seems very far away from you, please take as generous of a bend of your knee as you need to grab hold of your foot. And the important part here is you're going to bring your forehead to your knee. We're just doing the best that you can to bring your forehead to your knee today. Pressing that forehead on your knee. Once you do have this compression here, work to kick your right heel away from you as much as possible while still keeping your forehead on your knee. And then work to really square your shoulders on top of that right thigh. So dropping your left shoulder down and your left elbow down. Getting a nice rounding in that lower back. Chin tucked towards your chest, deep stretch all over the left side. Start working to flex your toes back towards your face, especially if you have that right leg straight. Can you flex your toes back towards your face?
and engage your thigh so much that your right heel comes up off of the mat. Take one more nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, gently release, lift yourself up, slowly coming up, one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead, switch your legs. Kick your left leg out, fold your right leg in towards the center line of your body. Once again, feel free to adjust as much as you need to move your butt meat. Find that grounding of your sit bones down towards the mat. Because as we reach for this left foot, you want to really keep that right hip grounded. Inhale those arms up overhead. Start to pull your belly in, interlace your fingers. Remember, you can take as generous of a bend of your knee if you need to. So if you want to bend your knee now, as you turn towards that left thigh, suck your stomach in again. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Look towards your belly button as you bring your forehead to your knee. And work to interlace all 10 fingers under the ball of your foot. So try to get rid of your sandwich. No thumbs on top. Get your thumbs in line with your pointer fingers. And then twist, dropping that right shoulder down, left elbow down, pulling your belly in tight. Kick your left heel away from you as much as you can while still having this forehead and knee compression. This is where they say that the medical benefits come in for elimination, digestion, metabolism, all of the isms. But you got to have that forehead pressing on your knee. And remember, if you can't get your forehead to your knee today, don't feel bad. Your best is always enough. Flexing those toes back towards your face, engaging your thigh, kicking through your heel, working to lift your left heel off of the mat, pulling your belly in tight. Can you bring your belly away from your thighs? Right shoulder down, right elbow down, right sit bone down. Take one more deep inhale. And on your exhale, slowly, gently release. Round yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. And now go ahead, kick both of your legs forward in front of you. Yay, let's just take a moment right here in staff pose before we move forward. So fingertips can come right by the sides of your hips. Open your shoulders, open your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Pretend like you have that delicious, juicy grapefruit tucking your chin towards your chest. I don't know about you guys, but I find that I'm always like, what? Like looking up towards something in the ceiling, and I see myself in video and pictures, and I'm just like, oh, Jessica, chin down, chin down. But things are just so tight that sometimes I don't come into this chin down. So let's be here, right here, for a moment, as mindful as possible. And then we're gonna do something a little weird. Don't think about how it looks, think about how great it's gonna feel. All right, so we're going for a swim stroke. So taking your right hand, drawing it behind you, my fingertips are grazing on the floor as they come off the floor. Nice big rounding up and over, and I'm gonna reach for the outside of my left toe as far as I can go. And then just draw my fingers back over my thigh like it's coming through water or sand. And as I'm lifting up, my left hand is going behind me, reaching all the way up and over, keeping that belly tight as you hinge forward. And just one and then the other, just drawing your hands back as much as feels good. And then forward. You can really do one nice and slow. And then the other. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Just starting to find a nice little twist happening right here. Feeling it as far down your back as feels good for you. Making sure that belly is still in tight though. Keep finding that engagement of your abdominal core. Maybe reaching a little bit further towards the outside of your feet. A little bit deeper of a twist. Have fun. One more time on each side. Beautiful. All right, restack your head on top of your heart, on top of your hips. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna draw our feet in to stump, coming back into stump. I know this might not be the coziest and the following might sound a little weird, and we're just gonna do the best that we can. So I'm just gonna turn towards the side, be a little bit more flattering for the camera. All right, so this time I do want you to turn your feet out. So your feet go out and your toes go in. This is going to sound weird. You're going to do the best that you can with your body today. But you're going to bring your hands behind you by your hips, ground your heels into the floor, press yourself up, walk your hands forward, and then bring your hands in front of you and come on into a frog squat. And as you get here, you might want to open your feet even wider. And feel free to just take a moment shifting the weight from right and left, keeping those hands on the floor if you want. If the floor feels really far away, still using a block, something that you can just help to prop yourself up on. We're going to hang out here in the squat for a little while. Experiment with pulling one knee back and then the opposite knee back. Just enjoying some movement in your stretch right now. Maybe getting a little shimmy, shimmy, shake in your shoulders. Anyone have anything good planned for the weekend? Oh, you guys, I have a mouse, so I'm hoping to not just like stay up till 2:30 in the morning again, trying to catch it with a quart container, because this is not a good way to catch a mouse. And they're all sold out of traps at the store. Of course they are. Great. All right, so let's come on into our version of Malasana today, a nice squat. Really just work to get your toes in line with each other. It's totally okay if your heels don't come all the way down towards the floor. You can stay right here in frog with things forward, or work to release those heels a little closer towards the mat. Sink your butt down even more. Can you bring a little bit of pressure into the outside edge of your feet? Don't just let all of the pressure come into your big toes and roll forward. Find one spot to focus your eyes. Back to your breath. Long, slow, deep inhale in through your nose. Even slower exhale out through your nose or mouth. 4 more breaths right here. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale slow as you can. See if you can sink a little deeper on these exhales. Last 2. One more. Release your hands back down towards the mat if they weren't already there. We're going to send the weight forward into your toes as you gently lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Option to heel toe your feet in a little bit closer together. We're going to hang out here in a dangle. So keep that generous bend of your knees. If you really press into your hands palms to lift your chest up, use your exhale. Relax your forehead a little bit closer towards the mat. Think about looking down between your big and your second toe. I mean your big and your second. Your 2 big toes, as opposed to looking towards whatever is behind you, to take a little bit of that rounding out of your back. And really feel free to bend your knees as much as you need to here. Kind of being in a modified squat if you want, grounding those feet deeply into the floor. As you keep a little bit of weight in your heels, you're not going to feel a lot of a stretch on the back of your legs. But the more you send those hips up towards the ceiling and start to press those big toes in towards the mat, just come into as much of a sandwich as feels good for you. If you want, even wrapping your hands around the back of your legs, or even draping your forearms along your shin. But please don't feel any pressure to come any deeper than feels appropriate for your body today. Coming towards the last of our dangle right here, I encourage you to pull those shoulders away from your ears, especially if your legs are pretty straight. Really try and stretch the crown of your head down towards the floor in what feels amazing for you today. Go ahead, take one more nice deep inhale. Then on your exhale, bend your knees once again. Bring your hands back down towards the mat. If you brought your feet in closer together, wiggle them back out, at least mat's width distance apart. Turn your toes out, keep those heels in, and we're dropping down into our squat one more time. Once again, option to just shift the weight back and forth, just finding what feels good. Finding what feels good. Feel free to just kind of roll up onto your heels, opening your thighs a little bit more. And what feels awesome for me might not feel as awesome for you, and that's totally okay. Don't worry, you guys. We've got less than 1 minute left in this dangly squat. This froggy squat, if you will. Supported on the floor this time around. Yay. Take your last 2 breaths right here. Take one more moment in movement. We're going to take 3 breaths here in our stillness. If you want to bring your hands back towards your chest, if you really want to work on getting those heels towards the floor, make sure you're still focusing on pressing your pinky toe down towards the mat, not just rolling it all in towards your big toe. Take one more nice deep inhale. And on your exhale, bring your hands back towards the mat. Gently get your knees back down towards the mat. Yay! Let's take a moment and just send our hips back towards our heels. And enjoy some child's pose. Feel free to relax your head down. Maybe your nose can even graze on your mat or towel. Feel free to walk your hands, palms as far forward as feels good for you today. If you have a lot of tightness in your shoulders, consider taking that bend in your elbow. If that's still uncomfortable, remember you can always bring your hands all the way down by your heels with your palms facing up towards the ceiling. Find what feels good for you today. Honor the fact that every day is different. How did you eat? How did you sleep? What's on your mind? Can you clear your mental desk? Putting up an article this afternoon about mindfulness. It's not just in your yoga practice. You bring your mindfulness to everything that you do. It's just about being focused. It's so much easier, I find, when we exercise to stay focused, to stay in the moment. A little bit harder working from home though. Let's not even think about that right now. Back to our breath. Inhaling in, exhaling out. Allow those hips to sink a little closer towards your heels. Last 2 breaths right here. Nice focus. Go ahead, gently pull yourself up. Coming back up into tabletop. Get your hands, palms right underneath of your shoulders. Let's take a moment, just flexing it out here in cat-cow. Oh my, oh my. Whatever version of cat-cow feels good for you today. I'm taking some nice shakes of my hips side to side. Hanging out a little more in tabletop to begin, but don't worry, I'm still really going to focus, what's that, on a little chin to chest for some Halloween cat. Still shaking my hips a little bit though, just because things are feeling pretty tight. Who's challenging themselves and, oh wow, joining us for that virtual 5K. We're finishing up week 5, you guys. Oh my gosh, can you believe it? Last year, today, we had the MITRE Spring 5K. Who was there? Such a good race. So plenty of time to participate, even if all you want to do to participate is make your own virtual race shirt and just like take a walk outside. I think that's amazing. You don't have to run a 5K. You don't even have to run or walk 5K. What can you do? What are you going to do? How do you challenge yourself? This yoga is amazing, but like cardio is pretty great too. All right, yay, that was some really great cat-cow. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit deeper of a hip opener. So we're gonna bring our right leg forward. We're gonna start off with a regular hip opener. We'll see if we have some time for pigeon today too. All right, so maybe pressing up onto your fingertips to help you get that right leg forward, right sole of your foot is going to come down between your hands, palms, and you might need to wiggle your leg forward, or you might need to shimmy your back leg back, because we're going to hinge forward at the hips to bring your left hip forward, and I want you to really think about drawing your right leg back. If the floor feels far away from you, feel free to use a block or a book, and once you find your fingertips grounded on the floor, can you take this rounding out of your back and
pull your shoulders down away from your ears to create as straight of a line as possible from your head to your shoulders, from your shoulders through that left hip, and all the way down to that back knee on the floor. Take 2 more breaths right here. And then we're going to come into a twist. So placing your left hand either on the floor or on your block. Stay forward in this hip opener as you stretch your right arm up towards the ceiling. Turn your chin as much as feels good for you today. Once again, pull those shoulders away from your ears. Normal for shoulders to creep up like earrings. Go ahead, take 1 more nice deep inhale. And exhale, release your right hand down towards the floor. We're going to twist in the opposite direction. Surprise! Stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling. Still working to shift those hips forward. 1 more slow breath right here. And then exhale, release your left hand back down towards the mat. Bring your right hand to the outside of your right foot. Reverse splits. So sending your left hip back towards your left heel as you walk your fingertips back. Gently begin to straighten your leg. Can you keep your big toe down on the mat to begin with? And as you walk your hands, palms back, don't feel like you need to come all the way towards your thigh. You can stay as lifted as you want to right here. Staying lifted can actually help you to tuck your pelvis just a little bit and get that left heel back in line with your left glute, as opposed to sometimes it's very easy to find ourselves with our hips shifting towards the other side of the mat. So square your butt on top of that knee on the ground. Square your chest as much on top of your right leg as you can to feel more of a stretch in that right leg. Start to flex your toes back towards your face. An option to round down as much as you want to, but make sure that rounding down doesn't make you shift your hips too much to the left or too much to the right. Staying as centered as you can. Maybe taking a little relaxation in that right toe, easing up the stretch just a little bit. Coming back to your breath, pull your shoulders away from your ears. Take 1 more deep inhale. Then on your exhale, ground your right foot back down if you lifted it. Start to walk your hands, palms forward. Take another big generous bend of your knee 1 more time in this right side hip opener. And change. Go ahead, bring your right leg back. I'm going to bring both of my hands down towards the floor and tuck my left toes under so that I can bring my right leg back. And just take a moment here in plank. Or you can just hang out in tabletop. Pull those shoulders away from your ears if you're in plank. Bring those eyes forward. And change. Release your knees back down towards the mat. Back into tabletop. And from right here, we're just going to bring that left leg forward. Bam! Left leg comes forward. Wiggle those toes forward as much as you need to, such that as you hinge your hips forward, you're creating as straight of a line as you possibly can, and you're really starting to feel that right hip flexor is where we're going for. Find your fingertips on the floor or on your prop, and then start to find your length. So as I started to find my length, if you're looking at me, you might have noticed that lifting my chin away from my chest allowed me to drive my knee forward even more, so I'm feeling it a little more in my left hip flexor as well. Make sure that you didn't hinge forward so much that your knee goes past your toe. Get ready for the twist. You can keep your hand on your prop if you need to. Send that left arm up towards the ceiling. Ooh, just take a couple of breaths right here. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot or your prop. Send your right arm up towards the ceiling. Keep those hips coming forward. Pull those shoulders back away from your ears. Take 1 more deep inhale. Find your length and exhale. Release your right hand back down. Right hand to the inside of the foot, left hand to the outside. Take a moment to square your hips towards the mat. Notice if they turned out to the right, and then slowly start to bring more weight into your back knee as we come into our reverse splits, starting with that left toe down on the floor the best that you can. Remember, it's okay to find some lift right here. You don't have to be
all the way down. Finding that lift can help you, once again, to tuck that pelvis under. Maybe find a little extra stretching, rounding of that lower back. Really work to get your heel in line with your thigh on top of your calf. Make sure you're not shifting too much left or right. And then if you want more of a stretch in the back of those legs, pulling your toes back towards your face. Feel free, if it feels good, to round down as much as you want to, but keep focusing on dropping that left hip down, keeping those hips squared with the front of your mat and staying right on top of that left leg. Two more breaths right here. Awesome. Lift your chin from your chest. Reground your left foot on the floor. Begin to shift the weight forward one more time, coming into this big hip opener on this side. This time, right hip draws forward, left hip draws back. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Eyes focus on the floor in front of you. Squeezing that right butt cheek just a little bit, driving your pubic mound closer towards the mat. Once more, shoulders away from your ears. And now again, option to come into plank to come out of this. Or just sending your left leg back, however feels good for you. We are going to take a moment and send our hips up towards the ceiling. So even if you are in tabletop, stretch your legs back behind you, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Just a quick moment in down dog. As you come into down dog, I really want you to think about bringing your ears in line with your biceps. So you're looking down towards the floor between your toes. Your hips come up towards the ceiling, and you can separate your feet, spiraling your inner thighs towards the wall behind you, as if I'm holding on to you from your hips, and bam, pulling those hips up and also back. Press the fleshy part of between your thumb and your pointer finger onto the mat. Go ahead, bob your heels. Let's open our hips once more right here. So ground your left foot into the mat. Careful where you are. Send your right leg up towards the ceiling. Make some circles with your ankle in one direction and then the other. Go ahead, bend your knee, stacking your knee on top of your hip. Make some circles. Make some circles in the other direction. And go ahead, release your right leg back down towards the floor. We're just having fun. Send your left leg up towards the ceiling. Point your toes. Make some circles with your ankle, with your toes. Normal to hear crunching, cracking. Try not to open your chest towards the side, so keeping chest square towards the mat. Now go ahead, bend your knee. Make some circles. One direction, the other direction. And release your left leg back down towards the mat. Open those legs nice and wide. Nice. Go ahead, bend your knees, bring them down towards the floor. Bring your toes back together, knees out nice and wide. Send your hips back towards your heels. Once again, finding ourselves in child's pose. You can feel free to shake your hips left and right, right and left. Just finding what feels good. Back to your slow breath. I know some people can find down dog to be so challenging on your shoulders, so much pressure in your wrist palm. If you find that you have a lot of trouble with your wrists, let me know after class. We can totally focus on some like wrist warm up and openers and things that will make all of these positions where you're applying pressure on your hands feel better. But I need to know that that's something that you guys might need. So if that's you, if you are feeling any pain in your wrists, in your forearms and whatnot, hit me in the comments after class. Awesome. All right, pull yourself up once more. We're going to come back down onto our backs. So take your time. Lay down on your backs, you guys. Place the soles of your feet on this floor, lower yourself down one vertebrae at a time. Be as kind as you can. Knees still pointing up towards the ceiling. Stretch your arms out to the side in a T. Palms can face up or down, whichever feels good for you. Gently begin to rock your hips a little bit, rolling over a little bit more onto the right side hip as you allow your knees to fall heavy over towards the right, a nice spine twist. If your left shoulder came all the way off of the mat, work to use your breath. Maybe first bending at the elbow, bringing your left elbow down and just working to relax and release. Sometimes the reason that we can't get down is just because we're so tense, we're so tight. So using that exhale, knowing that whatever you came into is totally okay. If you want to feel the stretch even more, taking that top knee and pointing that top knee down in the direction of like the corner of the room, as if your legs were stretched out really wide. The way that your right leg would currently be pointing will help you bring a little bit more stretch to your back, especially if you're still focusing on stretching that left shoulder down towards the mat. Find 2 more breaths right here in your stillness, wherever it is. Don't move. And then slowly, gently releasing your back onto the mat, sending those knees up towards the ceiling. Maybe applying some pressure into the floor, re-grounding yourself, readjusting your shoulders, starting to roll over onto the left side hip as you drop your knees over to the left. Feeling free to turn your chin towards your right shoulder, focusing on relaxing that right shoulder a little closer towards the mat using your exhale. Just scanning your body and noticing where you might be tense and what might be holding you back from that complete relaxation. Is it physical? Is it mental? Option to point that right knee down and away to bring even more of a stretch through your back. Come into your complete stillness right here. Last 2 breaths in your twist. Nice work. Slowly, gently work to roll your back onto the mat, getting that right hip bone back in contact. You can keep your arms out wide to the side if you want to. You can put your arms wherever you want. Feel free to open your legs as wide as you want to, as we'll just take a full 2 minutes right here in your final Savasana. Heels towards each other, toes fall open. Feel free to have one hand on your heart or on your chest. If you need a little bit more of a stretch of your pecs, bringing your arms up overhead, allowing the backs of your fingertips to come down towards the floor. Wherever you can completely and consistently relax and release, giving the same focus to your Savasana, the same attention, the same desire that you brought to every other posture of finding your stillness right here. Don't just get up and be like, we're done. We're not done. Giving your opportunity to your body to just allow this freshly oxygenated blood to continue to flow through for all of your extremities, helping to break down scar tissue and just carry some good juju around. Simply melt into your mat, scan your body, starting at your head, your shoulders, your chest. Where are you still holding that tension, and what can you relax and release? Take a little wiggle of your fingers, of your toes. Maybe draw your knees up towards your chest. Free massage. Free massage. Give yourself a free massage in both directions. And then either allowing your knees to feel heavy to the side and pressing yourself up with your hands, or have fun, rock yourself up like a ball. So we can finish together in the seated position. Take a moment to honor yourself. Bring your hands palms to the center of your chest. Press them together. Feel a little more engagement once more on your back. Feel that delightful warmth, that energy that you have created. Thank you guys so much for coming and sharing that energy, not just with me, but with each other, with everyone that you come into contact with. If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything that you've heard, that we've said, that we've done, if anything hurts, if I can help you in any way, please reach out. I can't wait to see you guys all again soon. I hope you have the most mindful of weekends. Namaste.